Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Guys on Gaffr. It is still pre-season. This is our third pre-season episode, and as previously mentioned, no David, as he's in Canada having a great time with family, but Abhishek is here again. How are you doing today?
Yeah, doing well. A bit of rainy season started in my country, so especially in this Asian zone. So in terms of temperature wise, it's manageable now because of the rains. And in terms of a bit of a preparation now going on because start of the season is near closing in on us,
Hmm.
and lots of drafts and need to do lots of drafts now in various fantasy games that
Hmm.
we play. So, yeah, apart from my regular day-to-day jobs, have to do these types of things as well. So yeah, doing all right.
Good. Good. Bro, so
How are you?
yeah, doing well, thank you. It's I feel very much out of the break between seasons, and like I'm starting to tinker on all the games a bit now, which is fun,
Yeah,
but also trying not to do too much of it so that my brain gets frazzled,
yeah, yeah.
and just really sort out my final decisions in that final week really, and not kind of stress about the things that I'm unsure about now, like in FPL, like your Salahs versus Trents and things like
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
It's going to be good to get stuck into this now. So basically, the plan is, if you've seen the last episode, it's basically going to be exactly the same, just for the other 12 teams. So we're going to go through the other half of the championship, and we've got, again, for the majority, some great summaries from people who have, from different fans who've submitted those. So thank you to everyone who's done that. And then
Mm.
we'll have a brief discussion on kind of our thoughts on those teams and their potential Gaffr assets. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. And the first two teams are Cardiff and Middlesbrough. So we'll start with Cardiff. Their fixtures are a bit mixed to start with. So Leeds away, QPR at home, Leicester away, Sheffield Wednesday at home, and Ipswich away. So two of the promoted teams, two of the relegated teams, and QPR. And FPL Bluebird has kindly sent in a decent summary of what his thoughts are on Cardiff, so I'm going to read that out now. Okay. After several seasons of underperforming, the Bluebirds are in a period of transition. They were placed under a transfer embargo in January 2023, but after an appeal, they were in a position to sign players for a fee in Jan. The club has been in turmoil over recent seasons with numerous new managerial faces. The turnover of players has also been high, with many prize assets being sold. Errol Bullitt has taken over at the helm, a much respected manager who's completed spells at, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, Alanyaspor and
Mm.
Fenerbahce in Turkey.
Mm.
Both appointments were successful, with Bullitt achieving a win percentage of 52% at Alanyaspor and 62% at Fenerbahce. Alanyaspor also reached the Turkish Cup final and qualified for the Europa League under his management. He is renowned for building
Mm.
a rock-solid defence and for his teams to press opponents aggressively, hitting them in transitions to create chances. It is no secret that Cardiff lacked firepower last season. They scored just 3 more goals, 41, than Wigan, who finished bottom of the table. There is no doubt that the
Yep.
lack of creativity and missed opportunities cost Cardiff dearly. For example, they missed
Mm.
5 penalties. Yes, I remember that well.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yep.
Tam, I
Yep.
missed a
Yep.
couple in my team. To date,
Yeah.
the Bluebirds have added 5 new signings, which are free transfers and loans this summer. So they brought in Dimitrios Gutas from Sivasspor, Turkey, so Turkish connections. Yaku Mete from
Mm.
Reading, Aaron Ramsey from Nice, Ike Ukbo from Troyes? How do
Right.
you say that in
Yeah.
French? Carlin Grant from West Brom is the other one. Last bit, a couple of friendly games in Portugal over recent days have been disappointing, albeit the opposition were SC Braga and FC Porto. With a new manager and the acquisition of Aaron Ramsey, there is far more optimism amongst fans compared with previous seasons. I expect there to be some new
Mm.
additions, full payments in the January transfer window, and for Cardiff to finish mid-table this season, 8th to 12th. Anything higher would be a bonus. So just to remind
Mm.
everyone, before I ask you for your thoughts, Abhishek, what we asked for from the fans was not actually their thoughts on best Gaffr assets, because I think a lot of people have a good grasp on the general
Mm.
kind of best players, but more kind of things like tactical style, the general state of the club. And I think
Yeah,
he's done a very good job of talking about that in there, how the new manager is set up, because this
yeah,
is stuff that I didn't have a clue about beforehand. So really, really useful. Thank you.
yeah.
Cardiff. Does anyone stick out to you from a Gaffr point of view that may become features in our seasons, even if probably not from the start, given the fixtures?
I think there's a lot of players that are going to stick out this season from Cardiff, especially because the players that they have signed are all decent championship caliber
Mm.
players who can do a decent job. I mean, more than decent job, I guess. I think we all know the partnership that Callum Robinson and Carlan Grant had at West Brom. So we get to see that in Cardiff once again. Hopefully, that will be fruitful again, like that when they had at West Brom. I mean, they signed Ramsey, which is a key signing because they really needed that link up player in the middle of the park who can take the ball from the defensive midfielders and ping it to the forwards and the runners that they have they are going to have loads because they have Robinson, they signed Milite, they have I think Odauda is also there. They have,
Yeah.
you know, so they have a lot of wing players or a lot of attacking midfielders. So the signing of Ramsey is really interesting and key to their plans going forward, I feel. So I don't think we're gonna start with Cardiff assets, especially if if there is a boost involved, or there are different certain teams that have decent amount of fixtures. But in terms of over the course of the season, I think we're gonna see certain Cardiff assets jumping in and around our teams throughout the season.
Yeah, I think there could be potential options there at some point. I think we spoke quite a bit last time about we talked about certain options, but other players we classified as like if there's a boost and they have a double game week sort of thing. And I think there's a few of those. So like I look at like Ramsey and Mate as those potential guys that you probably aren't going to own very much, but let's just pretend we have Budget Buster in set two and they have a double game week. They could
Yep.
be interesting options. Like Yaku Mate, I think he's a very good championship level player when he's fit. He's just not been fit for a long time. But for Reading, he was a very very capable attacker, and at 6 million,
Yeah.
there could be a time where he's a good option. Aaron Ramsey, I'm not necessarily sold on. I'm not sure the goal threat will be there, but maybe he'll be all right for bonus.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell at this point, but I'm not keen at the moment. I'm not sure he's going to be attacking enough, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. And then like Carlan Grant, I would be interested in, but he's kind of priced at a West Brom price because he moved from West Brom at 8 million. I think if he'd moved to Cardiff kind of earlier on before pricing, he might have been a bit cheaper. And 8 million is probably going to be too much when we've got probably better options like Sims at 8.5 and Yates at 7.5 and things like that. So
I mean,
not
his
much interest
strike
in the
partner
forwards.
is 7.5. I think. I think his strike. I mean, Colin Robinson is 7.5. So you
No,
wanna
he's
save that
eight.
point
He's
five.
eight. He's eight.
He's also 8.
He's eight.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got it
ah,
in front of me here.
oh,
Um,
yeah. Go on.
so yeah, I don't think we'll be interested in the forward. So yeah, for me, it's probably Mate and Ramsey that may be a factor at some
Yeah,
point. The defenders, NG's 5.5, too much. And then the rest of the first choice ones are 5. The keeper's also 5. So probably not interested either, considering
yeah.
this is a team that's going to finish, to me, lower mid table.
Mm.
So I don't think I'm particularly interested in them. That's my thoughts on Cardiff. Do you have any to add before we move on?
Now I think another interesting. I think the left back Bagel. I think he shares your name. He shares your name, so probably be a decent player. I think one to because a lot of Cardiff fans are saying that he is got a decent left back after all. So one to I mean, among all these players, he's also another one to watch for. I think,
To be fair, he's four and
and
a
like you
half. So
said,
if he's first choice, if he is first choice, then actually that
yeah,
could be a good option. If he is first choice,
yeah,
as a
yeah.
four and
I
a half,
think
yeah.
they don't have any left back as of now, apart from him.
Mm.
So I think he will start. So we will see. And I think That's about it. And I think before we move on, I think just need to give a shout to Bluebird's new book about FPL. I think
Mm.
it has come. He has done wonders. I'm forgetting in the name of the book that he has recently published. Let me check it. He
Interesting.
has, yeah, he's doing a wonderful job providing FPL contents, providing threads and all. I think the new book is Chasing Green Arrows:
Nice.
FPL Strategies and Tips to Succeed. So he has done. I have read his first book. I haven't. I've just ordered his this new book. It hasn't yet been delivered to my place now because logistics problems. But soon I will be getting it. So hopefully I'm going to get a good read
Cool.
before the
Yeah.
start of the season.
I'll
So,
have to look out for
yeah,
that. Yeah,
do
that's really cool.
yeah, do check it out if you are an enthusiast of and book readers. So
Nice.
it's a nice book he has written, easy way. So yeah,
Cool. Right,
yeah.
let's move on to the next team. Middlesbrough are next. Their fixtures are Millwall at home, Coventry away, Huddersfield at home, West Brom away, QPR at home. So again, a bit of a mixed bag. Kind of quite a few playoff contenders from last season in there: Millwall, Coventry, West Brom, and then the two easier home games. So mixed bag. We've got at FTBL for football Harvey, who has sent us
Mm.
a summary for Middlesbrough, and it goes like this. Since Michael Carrick's appointment, the football has improved massively. With this being his first full season in charge, it will be interesting to see whether he can keep it up. With a handful of new signings, such as Morgan Rogers, Sammy Silvera, Senny Dieng, and a few others, he looks to strengthen the squad in places where we had key players last season. It remains to be seen whether some players, such as Ryan Giles or Cameron Archer, will be coming back to the Riverside, and whether Chuba Akpom will be a Middlesbrough player when the season starts, after reports of injury and not playing a minute in pre-season. However, Carrick's philosophy remains the same as last season: possession-based football with patient build-up, creating many chances for the forwards. It's clear that the aim remains the same for Carrick, that promotion is the key goal this season after playoff defeat last season. Thanks, RV. Yeah, really
Mm.
good. I think it sounds like not much is changing. Some personnel is changing, but style not so much. Um, what I'd like to know from you: Akpom, overpriced or good option still? Not necessarily straight away because of his injury and his lack of pre-season, because I had him in my team and I took him out because of his injury. But assuming fit, overpriced or not?
Yeah, to some extent, because he only has a season of like last season once in the championship so far. I don't think he has 20 plus goals back to back. So it really depends on how. I mean, clearly, Gaffr guys have priced on last season's form,
Mm-hmm.
especially for him. But I think scoring 25 plus goals, you expect him to be a semi-premium. Maybe we expected him to be a semi-premium, but not a fully premium guy, like 12 million. But I mean, he's priced in the bracket of what was priced for the likes of Mitrovic, Pookie in the past seasons. So he needs to continue his form so that he justifies his price. I'm not going to start with him, especially with Piro having, I think, 1.5 million less. And Piro, hopefully, I think will be going to Leicester City. So I much prefer Piro than him at the moment in terms of price or quality or especially injury issues, because at the moment he is injured, so we can't say fully that he he doesn't deserve his price. He do deserve his price, but maybe 1 million extra they have priced him. Maybe if they have priced on the bracket of 10 to 11 million, that would have been fine. But we will see how he do, because Carrick has strengthened his squad, especially in attack. He has signed all these wonderful wingers, wing players, exciting young players. So it will be helpful. But as of now, maybe to some extent he looks like it's overpriced. But many people can say that he deserves this price. I tend to agree with that also. But yeah,
Yeah. my personal opinion is he's about the right price. Actually, he was. I believe I did look into the stats about a week or two ago. I believe he was top for XG last season in the whole league. So his stats are up there with the premiums, and therefore I don't really have a problem with him being priced as a premium. And like I said before, I was going to have him in my Game Week 1 team as a safe starting option in terms of we know he's a great option, and I could very easily hop onto the best sort of Southampton striker, whether it's Armstrong or Adams afterwards, or I have Bamford already, but if like Pirro starts well, I could hop onto him,
Yeah.
or a Leicester striker like Vardy or something. As So I was kind of seeing him as the kind of starting premium striker to move on fairly quickly. But obviously with his injury issues and lack of preseason, he's currently not in my
Yeah,
team.
he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't played at all this
No,
preseason.
not at all.
As of now.
Yeah. So
So it will be hard to see. Yeah.
yeah, but I do think he will be. I think he's so nicely priced that I think there will be. Obviously, last season he became essential, but there will be times where he is on fire, and he will be low owned because of his price, and people find him hard to get to, and therefore there could be good opportunities to make gains from him.
Yeah.
So I'll be keeping an eye out for that because. Yeah,
Ye-
I think
Yeah.
I think that's a sweet spot. 11 million actually. If he's like 9 million, I think he'd be very highly owned.
Yeah.
If he was
I
13 million,
think
it'd be too much. So
one. Yeah, one also can be added to his pricing criteria is that Tony was priced at that price
mm,
after having just one season with Brentford
mm,
from league. He came from League One. But he was priced for the second season in this bracket. So it kind of just justifies that conundrum,
yeah,
that saying that yeah, after one season nobody expects him, but he kind of expected him if he's putting up those numbers, especially the stats are behind him,
mm,
then certainly it is justified to some extent.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we will see
See,
his injury. That this is the weird timing because in the preseason he's not getting enough minutes, especially before the start of the season. Uh,
yeah, we'll have
what
to
will
see
happen?
when he gets
Yeah,
fit. But in terms of other options, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Giles comes back, but it's looking unlikely at the moment. He's been linked with Luton.
no, yeah,
So whoever comes in at left wing back would be potentially interesting. Then there's obviously Smith on the right, but he's 5.5 and wasn't that attacking in comparison to Giles. Wasn't as good for bonus compared to Giles last season. But Gnair's
yeah.
5.5 for old time's sake.
Nah,
No. So defensively, I mean Dieng is the one, isn't he? Really, let's be honest. I mean, he's a lock in my
yeah,
team.
he is the one, but Carrick has played with all his keepers this preseason.
That's
He has
that
played
happens
with
though.
the
That happens in preseason. I don't see why
yeah
Dieng wouldn't be first choice personally.
yeah. I mean the only thing is that if the other two goalkeepers he has signed is along with Dieng, I mean he has signed three goalkeepers this season.
Mm.
So clearly, Carrick seems to have some issues with Dieng because I thought Dieng would have been the number one signing, but he has signed two goalkeepers more after him. So that
There's
tells
no way Jamie Jones would be first choice. Glover, I don't know that much about. He's a
yeah,
free transfer from
yeah,
Melbourne City for 750.
yeah.
No,
But
for free.
both,
Sorry.
yeah, I
Um,
think both he has signed two backup keepers because we don't know anything about those two keepers
mm,
apart from Dieng, and who had a bad season last year.
he did.
So
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not going anywhere near Middlesbrough defense until I watch them do or keep back-to-back clean sheets. Until that happens, I'm not touching Middlesbrough defense
Mm,
at all. I'm not
yeah.
going nowhere near that. So attacking options, they have signed quite a lot of attacking options. So it will be interesting to see how he rotates them. But
Mm,
hopefully Akpom does get fit in time because he's one assured Middlesbrough attacker that we know that he's going to start week in, week out. Others may get rotated up quite a bit because he
mm,
has a lot of options, especially in the middle, attacking middle half. He has a lot of
yeah.
options. A lot
Yeah,
of
I
good
don't know
options.
if there's anyone in that midfield that stands out. I mean, I think McGree at 7 could be all right at some point. Jones has had a position
Hackney can
change from
be,
defence to midfield, so he's obviously a no-go now.
yeah,
Even though he wasn't
yeah.
nailed anyway at the end of last season.
The
But
only guy that I'm interested about from that crop, a lot of players I'm interested about, but one player I will be keeping an eye on is Hackney.
yeah, I
I
can see that.
really think he's a. I mean, lots of guys, lots of pundits and writers and all those in football and enthusiasts are saying that he's a Premier League player.
Mm.
So I need to see what they sees in him that they're saying he's a Premier League player. I've
Only
seen
6
him;
mil as
he's
well.
good. Yeah, he's a good player, but Premier League player, we'll have to see about that.
Could be a
Let's
good
see it.
shout though. Could be a good shout at
Yeah,
6 million if it's a bit of a breakthrough season. Obviously, he did quite well at the
yeah,
back end of last season. So yeah, that's a good shout. Cool.
yeah,
Right, let's keep things moving and let's go on to
yeah.
our next team. So Leicester is next. So their fixtures are pretty good to start with. They are standout, as I think we've mentioned on a previous pod. So Coventry at home, Huddersfield away, Cardiff at home, Rotherham away, Hull at home. And let me find the summary that we've got from FPL Fox. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I'm
Mm.
having flashbacks to the end of the Premier League season now. I'm just so glad we're talking, because we could be talking about Everton right now, but we're not. Thank goodness for that. Anyway, here we go. After what can only be described as a disastrous Premier League campaign, the appointment of Enzo Maresca has brought a sense of excitement back into Leicester. The club to date has announced 4 signings in the form of Hermanson, Cody, Doyle and Winks, as Maresca looks to bring an exciting brand of football to the King Power. Work is well underway to attract further players to the club, including Sefi Madavidi from Montpellier, and the negotiation of sales throughout the squad will take place in due course, with Harvey Barnes on the brink of a move to Newcastle, and obviously since this was written, that move
Yeah,
has gone through,
he has something. Yeah.
so he's moved to Newcastle. In addition to a couple of behind closed doors fixtures, we've only played one live game in pre-season so far. Again, I think this is a good... Let me just check when this was. I think this was sent on Saturday, so things
Mm.
have progressed. I think they have had another friendly since then. But anyway, he's talking about the 1-0 win at Northampton, and it was clear to see in that game the possession-based brand was already being slowly implemented into their game. The likes of Winks and Dewsbury Hall proving pivotal across the midfield. Albeit a small sample, the idea of playing a back three of Weiss, Cody, and Doyle in possession with Ricardo Pereira inverting into midfield was often the choice of tactics, so that's quite interesting. Jamie Vardy has led the line from the start in games so far and scored in a behind closed doors fixture on Wednesday, and has probably been unfortunate to have not scored more. As it stands, my pick of the bunch for Gaffr would be Ricardo, Dewsbury Hall and Vardy, but we should gain further understanding soon with games against Tottenham and Liverpool taking place over the next week in Asia. Hopefully this is of use. I think it's actually quite even older than last Saturday. It might be the Saturday before that, so in terms of the pre-season friendlies, I think a lot more has happened since then. But still, everything he says about the possession-based brand of football that's coming and his thoughts on style are all very, very relevant. So, yeah, a very interesting team, great fixtures. We're probably going to need at least 1 or 2, aren't we? Who's in your draft currently?
Currently, it's Dewsbury Hall, and Pirro is there. I'm hoping Pirro gets his move to Leicester
Mm-hmm.
because so that's my 2 Leicester players if Pirro move gets through. But as of now, Dewsbury Hall is the only one as of now. I'm really I need to have. I'm keeping my eyes peeled on Leicester friendlies. For the sole reason is that I'm not sold on who starts on their back four a
Yeah.
defense because it's really changing every preseason match. So I need to look at much more close to it. I think they have signed that goalkeeper who will be starting, and he comes at 6 million. So that's not going. That I'm not going to go to him because he's too much pricey at that. I mean, especially in the Gaffr game, 6 million. It's too much. But yeah, I think there are lots of options. They've started James Justin. They've started Vice Cody. Cody is the only guy that has has started in all the preseason friendlies. I think he has gotten minutes, and the rest has
Hmm.
got rotated quite a bit, I guess. So Ricardo, as he said, Ricardo can be an option because I think he will be playing in the midfield more than on his favorite right back position. So yeah, there's a lot of option, but yeah, I mean how they fix that James Madison and Harvey Barnes hole, it will be interesting to see. They started
Yeah.
fixing it slowly, but they haven't signed anyone complementing those two guys as of now. So, and it's a tough ask to ask. It's a tough ask for Dewsbury Hall to fill both of those guys uh, holes as of now. So it will be really interesting to see who are the players that they are going to sign
Hmm.
as replacements, because that will be key. Because we all have Leicester as our championships winning side. I'm sure you.
I don't currently, but I think that might change.
Yeah.
We're going to do our ones twenty
So
fours next week, by the way. But
yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna. So they need to sign players as replacement for those two guys.
Mm.
Then they will be. The one name I also missed is Daka. He's going to stay. I don't think
Yeah.
Iheanacho will stay. Iheanacho will, I think, move
He's been linked
to.
with Everton. I really, really hope that happens. Even though there's
Yeah,
some fans don't
but
like it, I'm like, come on, get a grip. He's really good. He's
yeah,
Premier League level
yeah,
striker, who
but
something
so
like that. He's cheap as well.
hopefully, so yeah, I think Vardy, Daka, and hopefully Piro gets his also.
Mm.
Those front three will be really decent, but we'll
Mm.
see. Daka will be an interesting shout
Yeah,
if
yeah, for sure.
if
Yeah, my
there's
thoughts
not.
on it. I've got Dewsbury Hall and Pereira in my team currently. Dewsbury Hall, I feel like, is going to be the Maddison replacement, I guess, and he's going to play a bit further forward and play in his role. I
Yeah.
guess we don't know for sure. We definitely don't know for sure, but I think he could be fantastic for Burners' chances, creating a lot of chances, key passes, that sort of thing. So at
Mm.
7.5, he's in. Pereira, see, this is an interesting one in defence. So Pereira playing the inverted midfielder could be good for him attacking wise, but also I wonder whether the threat is going to come more from the inverted mid, kind of right back or the attacking fullback. So like if, for example, if Castagna and Pereira are both in the team, is Castagna going to have more attacking threat as the one bombing forward? I was just
Mm.
trying to get up the latest preseason lineup that they had, but I couldn't quite find it. I was kind of keen to see who was playing in those positions, but I couldn't find something. If you do manage, let me know.
Mm.
But yeah, I think Pereira or Castagna could be fantastic options, and Justin too. It's just whoever starts at the wing back kind of spots. I do think
Mm.
even at 7, Castagna could be worth it. Yeah, Vardy, I feel like I might be undervaluing slightly. I've never really considered him at 10 million, and considering his age and thinking maybe he's going to be susceptible to kind of early subs, but he can cut it in the Championship still. He may not be able to really cut it in the Premier League anymore, but in the Championship
Mm.
he's going to be at a really good level. So maybe I'm overlooking him, and he could be, rather than, because what I've kind of done, I've removed Akpom and I've kind of downgraded significantly. Maybe instead I should be looking at Vardy instead of Akpom. Not sure,
Maybe.
things to think about, but I think those are the guys really. No one else at the moment kind of stands out. That midfield, yeah, is looking a little bit light on the wings, particularly with Barnes leaving, as you talked
Yeah.
about. So they do need a winger or two. Although Daka, even though he's a forward in the game, will probably play
Mm.
as a winger, I would have thought. Yeah, I've got nothing else. Do you have anything else to mention?
I think they have Christiansen also. They signed another left back, so they have a lot of defenders in there. I
Mm.
think they have played a friendly today only in Bangkok. I think against Sport FC. They won that 1-0. So it's
I
they
just
have a lot of
remembered it was the
defenders.
game against Spurs. I was looking. It's the game against Spurs at the weekend that got rained off, didn't it? That's why I couldn't find it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It got rained off, but They will play against Liverpool in Singapore, I think, on Sunday.
Okay.
So that will be a much more interesting watch, I guess, in terms of who will start where. I think they have too many defenders. I think 6 or 7 defenders, and Maresca has had to invert one or two of them into the
Mm.
midfield, to accommodate all these defenders that are fit.
Mm.
And he also signed another one, Doyle, from Man City on loan. So I think in terms of defenders, they have quite a bit. Who plays, who goes, who stays, it will be interesting to see come game week one.
Mm. Yeah, they've got
But
a lot of
as of
depth,
now,
depth in defence,
yeah,
haven't they?
they've got a lot of depth, and I think as of now, I think in terms of wing back position, I think if Castagna doesn't go, then Castagna and Ricardo clearly are the two favorite options in terms of
Mm.
wing defenders from Leicester, and Shrewsbury Hall as of now,
Yeah.
unless they sign someone of that caliber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Right, let's move on to Swansea. They've got Birmingham at home, West Brom away, Coventry at home, Preston away, Bristol City at home to start the season. Pretty good start in terms of fixtures. And like last season, we've got FPL Duck, who has sent us a nice little summary. So here is what he had to say. Duffball, Michael Duff is the new manager. Duffball has arrived at Swansea and in a transitional period of multiple new signings, with more to come, multiple outgoings, including a multiple shake-up at the executive level. It's anyone's guess what's going to happen for the Swans this season. At the time of writing, the Swans have gotten through 4 behind closed doors pre-season games under Duff, all in his favoured 3-5-2 system from Barnsley, and are yet to concede a goal while scoring 12 in the process. How much can be discerned from that, given there's only a few highlights online, is anyone's guess. Reports of the games indicate little threat to the defence, a consistent and relentless offence, and scoring multiple set plays. Duff seems to be getting the best out of the youth, with some stellar performances in the pre-season, and with the constant incomings and outgoings, it's hard to tell what impact they'll have. We presently have one senior wing-back in the newly signed Josh Key, who has a goal and assist in 75 minutes over 2 games. And with the future of Joel Pirot up in the air, the newly signed Jerry Yates is looking to make an impact in the next few friendlies. But where goals are coming from is anyone's guess. For now, what matters is that Duff is implementing a stable defence with goals coming from all positions, hopefully free of some of the horror show defending we saw under Martin. And while still keeping up the goals, once a set 11 can be determined, there looks like some serious value in our squad this year. Swansea are a weird team, you know. I don't know what to make of them. They go on these... They're very streaky. They go on these great... They ended the season quite well, and then they went on a fantastic run of form, and as soon as playoffs looked like a possibility, they stopped playing. So yeah, what are your initial thoughts on Swansea?
I don't have any thought because they, as you said, they're a pretty weird team, and I don't repeat the players that I was keen on watching have either fizzed out or they have uncertain futures at the club. The
Mm.
likes of Pirro. If Pirro goes, who's going as good as Yates can be? He can't be Pirro's replacement out and out. He has to score those goals. Albeit he was in a Blackpool side who didn't create much, he will get much more chances.
An
But he has to
interesting
put
note
up
on
those
that.
numbers.
Sorry to
Yeah, yeah.
just thinking it's worth mentioning. At Blackpool, he was. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he was often playing in the front two as well. So you know, he could do with a strike partner, even if Perot goes potentially.
Yeah. So especially, and the numbers that Pirro, that's gonna be a big miss because I think he has close to 80 plus goals in the 2 seasons that he
Mm.
has here in Swans. So it will be interesting to see who they're gonna replace if Pirro ultimately goes. Uh, the Swansea fans are really going on about Key. I haven't seen much about him. I don't know
No,
about
me
him.
neither.
So we have to. The jury is out. We have to wait and see. But the likes of it will be interesting to see if Patterson is fit enough. Then Patterson can be an option in over the course of the season. I'm not saying he's gonna be option now, but he's over the course of the season.
Mm.
I think
Only
they
six and a
are
half, pretty
going to.
cheap.
Yeah, in terms of goalkeeping situation, they're gonna have to. I think they're gonna sign another goalkeeper Hopefully that will be decent enough because I think Bender is out, especially in the first half of the season.
Oh, is he? Okay.
So yeah, I think so. Fisher, they have only one goalkeeper and certain academic graduates. I don't think they will be playing those academic graduates a full debut. They will be handing debuts to academic graduates, but as Duck mentioned, Duff Ball predominantly is defensive. They have to play a lot more. They have to defend well. So they
Mm.
need players that going to defend well in his traditional, predominantly 5-3-2 system. So it will be interesting to see which goalkeeper they sign. So it's a transitioning season. It's a wait and watch season kind of thing for me. I'm not going to go for the only guy that is in as of now is Spiro because I have trust in him. Whether Swansea play badly, horribly, good, decent, he's going to go get some returns. If
Mm.
not, I'm more than happy to hold him because he is going to get me a bunch of points over the course of the season. So yeah, as of now, he is the only option. If he goes, then Yates can be another option. He can be another option. You just have to wait and see
Mm.
what other options rises up.
Yeah, I've currently got Yates in my draft at the moment. I'm very interested in him. I think he could thrive off better service. Um, but yeah, it sounds like, even if Pro stays, it sounds like from what I'm hearing, he's going to probably play alongside him in that 3-5-2. So I'm very interested in him. I mean, it could go very wrong. Obviously, we had two Swansea strikers last year in Perot and Obafemi, who I think David and I started with, and it didn't go well. But yeah, I'm very interested in him at 7.5. He could be the sort of mid-price striker that stands out. Aside from that, I'm not really interested in anyone. I guess Fisher could be an okay 4.5 goalkeeper if no one else comes in. But the defence, even if they are kind of looking to be strong in that area, at 5 million, they're probably fine, but nothing on like your Leaf Davis, for example, with his attacking threat. So I'm going to be steering clear of the defence and monitoring Patterson because there may become a time where he becomes back
Yeah.
to his best. Nothing else to say really. I think it's Perot and Yates and maybe Fisher
Yep.
if you don't like Dieng. That's basically it for
Yeah.
now. Let's keep going. So Bristol City is next. We don't have any summary for this one, so we will just go with it ourselves. But they've got Preston at home, Millwall away, Birmingham at home, Hull away, and Swansea away. So actually, a pretty nice start, to be honest. Some pretty decent fixtures there. Yeah, what do you reckon to Bristol City at the moment?
I mean, if Alex Scott stays, then they're gonna be okay. If Alex Scott goes, then I don't know about much about them because he was their only shining star in that season that they had last season. He was their only shining star.
What
I
about
mean,
your favourite
why?
guy, Conway? What about Conway? Yeah, he did all right.
I mean, yeah, he started preseason pretty well. I think he scored, I think, 2 goals in the preseason so far.
Yeah.
But I still think Alex Scott was the guy that kind of made them decent. But they have signed players, but I don't think it's gonna be if they lose Alex Scott, which I kind of think they're gonna have to because Wolves have made an offer. I don't know about the situation whether they have accepted it or not. But if he goes, then much of the creative juice predominantly falls on Conway and Wyman. And who they have, I think another guy they have.
Sam Bell has had a good start to the preseason. I think he's on the radar of quite a lot of Gaffr managers at the moment. He's only 6, so he could be a decent option, particularly in a kind of budget buster scenario. But yeah,
Yeah,
just to mention at this point, like Cornick and Vyman are now midfielders in the game, not strikers, which is interesting. So it's just Wells and Conway, whereas last season they were all strikers. So I don't know if that potentially means they could become options later on. If they, I think there's a lot of potential rotation in those forward areas, as we saw last season.
Yeah,
But if it does become settled, then there could be a decent option there.
I think Bristol. You can say Bristol City. If you're gonna have pick Bristol City players, then it really depends on their fixture run. When they have back-to-back easier games, you pick them, and then straight away on the third game or fourth game, which when they had a hard game, you straight away slot them on the bench. So
Hmm.
this type of players, I think you're gonna get from Bristol, or you especially in terms of Gaffr. I'm not saying in terms of footballing conditions
Hmm.
how they're gonna play, but yeah, they it's gonna be a hard, long season again for Bristol. I think.
Yeah, and they still concede far too many goals, I think. They've not really reinforced in defensive areas, and all their defenders are 5. O'Leary, as the keeper's 4.5, which is not too bad, and he's alright for saves, so again, he could be an alright keeper's option, but they concede too many, so I'm not really interested in that. So I think we've basically covered it, haven't we? Should we move on? Move on to Stoke?
Mm.
Cool. Stoke start with Rotherham at home, Ipswich away, Watford at home, Millwall away, and Preston at home. Not too bad, actually. It's pretty good. And we do have a summary from Jamie. Jamie from the EFL Fantasy Pod. Thanks for doing this, Jamie. And this is what he had to say.
Yeah.
This season is a complete rebuild. A lot of the players left the club over the summer. Our squad is very slim at the moment, but new signings are starting to come through the door. In terms of expectations for the season, it's hard to say without seeing the new players play for us. I would expect a mid-table finish again, but as you all saw with Stoke last year, we can be really good or really bad. For all 3 of our friendlies so far, we've lined up on a 4-3-3. I expect us to play that for the majority of the season. Our fullbacks will attack the flanks while our wide forwards play as inside forwards, playing around our central striker. Our central midfielders will play box to box. We like to play out from the back, but this can be our downfall at times because we haven't got the players who are fully confident on the ball. Brill, thank you, Jamie. So Stoke are, a weird one, and another team that are probably going to be very inconsistent again this season. But they have re-signed Hoover, who popped up with some good attacking returns. At 5.5, does he interest you? I think at 5 I'd be interested, but at 5.5 probably not.
Yeah, I think unless I see those numbers again from these players, I'm not going to invest in at Stoke, because I think there's a debate going on among Stoke fans who is better 5.5, Timon or Hoover, and
Except Timon is
so
5, but I think
five,
we're not
yeah,
sure if he even starts at this point.
yeah. I think probably he starts ahead of Ender Stevens, because Ender Stevens
Mm,
will be the left-sided centre back. So probably he starts as a left wing back, and Hoover is right wing back, right?
yeah.
Or yeah, yeah. So I guess those two can become options over the course of the season, just like Sunderland defenders were
Mm.
options under Alex O'Neill. So only time will tell how will they. But Josh Campbell is scoring goals for fun.
Tyrese
So
Campbell. Tyrese Campbell.
Tyrese Campbell, not Josh
I was like,
Campbell.
who's that?
Yeah, I've done it again. Yeah, Tyrese Campbell is scoring goals for fun. So I don't think he will be an option, but it's the flavor of the month, so probably
But it's quite
he will
interesting
score
because
more.
when the game first launched, he popped up in quite a few teams, but I don't think I've seen him in many drafts recently. I think he's gradually been phased out of people's teams if they've realised there's other better
Yeah,
options.
yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah,
it's
so
the same with
he
me. I
can
had
be.
him in a draft as well, and he's no longer in it. In there.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I think Stoke will sign another new goalkeeper, I guess.
The only
Talking,
one the game's
yeah, I
on
was
him at the
looking at
moment.
some. So yeah, so yeah, it will be interesting to see how they play, because I'm not touching Stoke at the moment, but two players are on my watch list. Timon and who is this? Timon and
Campbell.
Hoover.
Oh, and Hoover. Yeah.
Hoover, not those two are on my watch list, but they have signed a couple of interesting wingers, attacking wingers, from Portugal. So it will be
Okay.
interesting to see how they perform. I will be especially keeping an eye on those two, because I think in terms of attacking returns they have done decently. Oh, but that stats belong to Portugal League, not in the Championship. So we have to
Mm.
wait and watch and see how it happens, how how they play. So, but I think the last player that they signed, I think the Portugal guy, they are pretty hopeful that he's going to do well
Oh, okay.
in championship. So
That
let's
guy
see.
is Vidigal. He's not in the game just yet.
Yeah, I think he signed a couple of days back earlier, so he will be in
Mm.
the game surely. But he's the one to watch out for as of now. Very exciting
Yeah.
prospect.
Yeah, cool. Nothing to add really. I think there's not much interest. Like the midfield's a bit of a wasteland. There's no one good there really. Lewis Baker at 6. That's a
No,
bit of a throwback, but I don't think he's an option, is he really? So yeah, yeah. What you said is pretty much
but
spot on. I think.
they have signed Daniel Johnson.
Yeah.
Interest,
Oh, it's all
but
right.
I
It's
think
okay.
yeah, I think the main guy from that midfield will be Ben Pearson.
Yeah,
Uh,
just not from a Gaffr
he
point of
will
view.
make them, yeah, but from Gaffr point of view, it will not be an
He'll
option.
be the sitter, won't he? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. Right. Who's next? Leeds. It's a big one. We actually didn't get anything for Leeds in the end. So
yeah.
this one we're going to have to cover ourselves. There's a lot of ins and
We
outs going on there, but they've got Cardiff at home, Birmingham away, West Brom at home, Ipswich away, Sheffield Wednesday at home. So they've got a really good start. So they're going to be a factor. Where do we start with Leeds? I mean, who's in your current draft?
no one.
No one. That surprises me. I've got 2.
Yeah,
No, 3. I've currently got
I got.
Cody Drammett, Sinistera, and Bamford.
Yeah, no, I don't have Cody Drama just because I don't know much about his future. Secondly, I had Harrison in my first draft when the game launched this
Same.
season, but since he had been injured, so he have left my team. I don't know much about Bamford this season. He has come
Yeah.
back from an injury. Really hard to say how he will suit Farke's style of play because he's not a genuine number 9.
Well,
He's
he
not.
is. He is. I'd say.
He is, but he's not like Pookie.
No.
How fuck? He's not like Pookie, and he. I am see. I will be interesting to see who Farkas signs because uh, they need like a player like Pookie. They need a player like Bundia. Sinistri can be a player like Bundia in this league, but it remains to be seen whether. I think he's going to stay because there's a lot of players going leaving Leeds now. It's
Mm.
hard to say who stays, who go, and starts for sure because every day I'm seeing another player leaves, another player leaves, a quite key player leaving. It's really hard to disheartening to see because we expected kind of that Bielsa sides of Leeds Premier League. Uh, they are scoring goals for fun. They're conceding goals for fun. Quite an exciting team to watch,
Mm.
but it's really hard to see how they have fallen. But they are now under new ownership as well, so they have to give them time, both the manager and the new ownership to
Mm.
put out a mark on their style. But we'll
Mm.
see. It's hard to say. But as of now, I'm not seeing them getting promoted straight away. A lot of people are saying that they're gonna be fine. I'm not seeing anything. I'm sensing they're gonna be mid table.
Yeah, I think the issue will be if plenty of players leave. Depth. I think they'll have a really good starting 11, but like assuming if Harrison leaves and Nonto leaves, please come to Everton. I think it's could happen. You've got your Sinisteras and your Somervilles, and then you're kind of dropping off to like Dan James and like players like that. So the depth isn't there
Yeah,
unless they make
Dan
some more
James.
signings.
I think Dan James is forced to start now. He's not a bench player even. He's a starting player now because
Ugh.
a lot of players are leaving. We
Yeah,
need
Bamford will be
we
frustrating
need
to own because he just misses lots of chances, but I think he'll get a lot of chances, so he's in at the moment. It is that midfielder spot that's difficult. Like there will be a good 8 to 10 million Leeds midfielder who will probably do very well, and we should probably have on our teams. It's just whether that's Sinistera, Harrison if he stays, Somerville, Dan James. maybe.
And
I don't think so, but I just don't rate him. That's the problem. Maybe he'll do well in the Championship. There's also like Sam Greenwood's only 7 million. He could play as a striker, so who knows really with Leeds. But I think I'm going to start with Sinisterra and Bamford. The upsides are there. They do have Ipswich first up, a newly promoted team. Defensively, they're all 6, and therefore Drama is the only one that I think is viable because of his attacking threat bonus. Obviously, he was brilliant for bonus at Luton last year, and I'm kind of assuming he'll stay and be the first choice right back over Ayling at the moment, but I could be wrong on that. So I think Drama if nailed is an absolute lock for me.
yeah,
But no one else I'd be interested in the defence. Ampatu's in quite a few teams, though. I'm guessing they're assuming, because he's a new signing, and they're assuming Jammer's maybe not nailed, and therefore he's the next best option, which I understand. But yeah,
I think more so the players that have Ampadu are thinking that Drama leaves.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's hard to say whether he'll stay or not. So that's why they have Ampadu, and I think it's a decent one because I think he will play in the midfield if not in defense.
Possibly,
So
yeah.
that will be another oop player for us. So it'll be interesting to see how it plans out. But yeah, it's difficult times at Leeds now. They need players. They badly needs players, and I think it's high time they now sign some players because I think what 3 weeks are left
Yeah.
of yeah 3 weeks are left for transfer window to end. So
Probably a bit longer.
no,
If it goes to the end of August, it'll be
yeah,
about a month.
August, yeah.
But yeah, 5 weeks. But yeah,
So
still.
yeah, they need to start doing something about it because when the league starts, it will be difficult to sign players. Because you need to gel with your new squad. Most of the players are coming from outside the championship. They need to accommodate Farke style, accommodate the city, all those things that need time. So
Yeah.
they need to do something quickly and now.
Yeah. I think we've covered Leeds pretty much there. They're going to
Yeah,
be an interesting factor in our seasons, definitely from a Gaffr point of view. It's just nailing down the who,
yeah.
which is always difficult with these relegated teams. So let's move on to Millwall, another team that we don't have any kind of fan input for, unfortunately. But they've got Millwall away, Bristol City at home, Norwich away, Stoke at home, Birmingham away. Reasonable, a couple of tough away games there, Middlesbrough and maybe Norwich. Depends if you count them as tough anymore, but not too bad. Now, I'm trying to get at their latest pre-season result because I want to know if Nisbet or Bradshaw started that game or both.
Nisbet
Nisbet.
started that game.
He scored a few goals,
Nisbet has
hasn't he?
started.
Pre-season.
Yeah, he has already scored I think 4 to 5 goals already in 2 to 3 preseason games. He's on penalties as well, but that penalty that he took on the preseason friendly was to get his hat trick. So I don't know whether he is the designated penalty taker. We have to see whether Millwall gets another penalty in this preseason friendly and Nisbet starts to take. But Millwall has got their strike man. So Bradshaw, some of the burden has been taken. Nisbet will take off some of the burden from Bradshaw. It will be interesting to see when these two starts to play up top for Millwall. It will be interesting to see because these two are genuine goal scorers. Bradshaw was missing a partner like Nisbet. Now he has got a partner like Nisbet. Millwall will be interesting this season because up top these two, behind them Fleming. Oh, that's a nice little trio we have.
Yeah. So both forwards are 7.5, and that might not be too bad at times.
Yeah.
There's I think both could be whoever kind of emerges as the better option out of those two could well be viable at some point. Fleming's had a bit of a price hike to 9, but it's difficult. He's one of those players who's obviously great for bonus, but is in a team that doesn't classically score loads of goals. But
Yeah,
when
that's
he
why
does, he's
it will be
getting 3 and
interesting.
4 bonus. So
Yeah,
9, I think, is about the
that's
right price, but I think it's going to be hard to go there for now.
he's on my team,
Is he? Okay,
but
interesting.
I'm having second thoughts about whether I should spend 9 million on Fleming or in the midfield, or should I upgrade? Should I downgrade, upgrade one of my cheap attackers to Nisbet and spend that money, save that money for that Leeds midfield attacker
Mm,
that comes along, uh, because I think Nisbet will score the goals and Fleming will get the assist majority this season, because Nisbet is a goal scorer. So I much prefer Nisbet to Bradshaw as of now, but we all know what Bradshaw did last season, so
mm.
you never know.
I
But
suppose like Fleming, you could argue is one of those, a bit like I was talking about with Appam earlier. He's a safe
mm,
person to start with for maybe the first 3 games. Even though the fixtures aren't
yes,
great. The problem is the fixtures, but he's the safe guy that he's a good Gaffr asset and he gets bonus and
yeah,
he, if they score, he has a good chance of being involved, and then he's one you can
yeah,
hop off onto the standout Leeds or Southampton midfielder around the 9 million price point.
yeah.
So he could be one of those good starting assets. So I do understand why you've got him in your team from that standpoint for sure. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I'm in the kind of wait and see camp on the strikers. Defensively, like Brian is coming at 6.5, and the others are 6, and I just think, even though they were very solid at times last season, which made them all right options, I just think you're looking for that extra attacking threat and bonus potential that you get in players like Cody Drammer and the Leicester guys and the Southampton guys. I just think you want to be going for them over spending 6 on one of those, right? Would you say that?
yep, yep, yep.
Keepers 6 as
Yeah, I
well.
agree. Yeah, I think in terms of defensively, they need to. We have to see them improve,
They'll be
because,
solid again.
Mal-
They'll be solid again. It's
yeah,
just no attacking
yeah.
threat.
I mean, for the past 2 3 seasons, I think only one guy stands out from Millwall defense every year. I mean,
Mm,
a couple of seasons back it was Malone. Last season, I think it was one of Cresswell and Cooper who stands out from defense. So it will be really interesting to see how the defenders collectively performs this season before I can trust a Millwall defender. But as of now, it's the other defenders. I'm happy to spend 7 million on the likes of Manning, Ricardo, likes of these guys,
mhm.
rather than 6.5 on Brian. Be-
Yeah.
But he will be their constant. He will be the starting left back, because Malone has left the club.
Yeah, I
So
was about to mention that. I was like, he's gone. He's gone. He's no
I
longer here
think,
to haunt me.
yeah, I was seeing some posts. He signed for Gillingham in
Oh,
League One, I
really?
guess.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
See, I knew he wasn't good. That's why I never got him. That's why I never got him.
yeah.
That's why I
Two
didn't.
seasons. You lost your Gaffr
I was, I
championship
was,
due to
I
him.
was ahead of my time. It was genius move not to get him.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Let's.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Millwall covered. Cool. We've got how many teams we've got left? Just 2 more. No, have we got 4 more?
Four. I think four. Yeah.
Yeah, there's only one more
Six.
slide, so I think I've accidentally skipped one.
Yeah.
I was thinking we haven't done
Yeah.
like Sheffield Wednesday yet, but anyway, Norwich are next. They start with Hull at home, Southampton away, Millwall at home, Huddersfield away, Rotherham at home. So again, a mixed bag. There's a lot of mixed bags, like 2 tough ones, 3 pretty decent fixtures, and we've got nothing on Norwich either. Unfortunately, we do have a couple more teams where we do have input though. So Norwich, they are going backwards all the time. I feel like
Yeah.
their squad is getting worse. They've lost Pookie. Aaron's is probably going to leave. And yeah, I feel like mid table is where they're going to be this season. They're not going to kind of threaten the playoffs. But from a Gaffr point of view, Does anyone stand out to you? I'm going nowhere near anyone at the moment.
And no, the two people that are going to stand out, I'm going to keep a watch on, is Gabriel Sara and the new guy that they signed yesterday, Christian Fesnot.
Oh yeah, he like scored immediately, didn't he? Like straight in the team
Yeah,
and scored.
Gabriel Sara and Christian Fresnot is these two guys. They are going to be on my watch list because over the course of the season, I might want them because of the price they are. I think Fresnot has not yet got price. Sara is at 7.5, so I quite like Sara because, and especially the new under the Norwich manager, I think he flourished last season, especially at the back end of the season. So I'm keeping an eye on him and Fasnot. I guess he's he got Champions League caliber experience. He's scoring. He is a good attacking midfielder. He is always attack is the only thing that is on his mind, and Norwich needs that kind of player right now to dug them out of a hole, I guess. But
Mm.
I think the signing of Barnes seems
That was so
to
funny.
be yeah, but
I guess he's going to
ideally
lead the line,
he
isn't he? I guess he's going to lead the line rather than
yeah
Sargent.
he's yeah, he's going to lead the line with Sargent at the back on the
On the wing,
1-to-1, 1v1
inside
behind
forward.
him
Yeah.
in the situation. So who knows? Maybe he will be on penalties as well. So at 7 million, he kind of appeals us, but we have to see how Norwich starts to Norwich does over the course of the season. Then we can say that yeah, he's an option. But as of now, I think Sara and Fesnot are the two on my watch list,
Mm.
not on my team. No, no, because I'm not going anywhere near Norwich players
Me
as of
too.
now.
Yeah, I'm the same. Just talking, go back to the forwards. There's also Adam Eder, who's only 6.5, but like, and obviously he was played with his injury issues last season, so you never know. He could break through and be all right. But not saying pick him, not at all. He's definitely not nailed.
Yeah,
Definitely not nailed. But obviously he has shown
yeah.
promise
All the
before,
players,
and that
all
is
the
a
players
cheap
that we are
price.
mentioning are for watch lists.
Yeah,
All the players that we are mentioning are for watch lists for certain teams,
I've
not have to be
I've
in your
seen
team.
Jack Stacey in quite a lot of drafts, and it's baffled me.
Uh,
I've not understood it.
Come on,
Like he's six
no,
million. When for six
don't
million you
start
can either
now.
pay a 0.5 extra for the wing backs we've talked about already, and Cody Drummond, players like that at 6. Like of all the premium options, he's at the bottom of the list. Surely, it's not
Yeah.
like Aaron's was particularly good last season. I don't think you'd
Yeah,
be paying 6. I just don't
even
understand.
though you're gonna if even though if Aaron stays at Norwich, which is highly unlikely, you're gonna have Aaron's ahead of Stacey. You're not
Mm,
going to have Stacey there, although Stacey is starting in these games in all the preseason friendlies so far, meaning that Aaron's is leaving. So 6 million, unless Norwich miraculously rediscovers their form, which they were, I think, a couple of seasons back when they were in the championship.
mm,
Couple of seasons back when they were in the championship. Unless they rediscover that form, I'm not going anywhere near
no.
Norwich.
No, I think Sargent could become an option at some point, but that's a very much a form-related thing. Um,
Yep.
he seems like a player who can go on a hot streak and could be good, but not to start with. Cool, that's Norwich. Let's move on to Plymouth, who unfortunately, we don't have any fan input on this, and we could do with it really, couldn't we? Because I don't know anything about Plymouth. They've got
Yeah.
Huddersfield at home, Watford away, Southampton at home, Birmingham away, Blackburn at home to toughish start. I don't know where to start with them, to be honest. I mean, they have, 4.5 defenders. If you need a 4.5 defender. Um, but like when I look through their team, they've signed Morgan Whittaker from Swansea. Whether he's the kind of Neil Ennis replacement that they've got, I'm not too sure. But he's a forward in the game. They seem a bit light on incomings at the moment, so I can see them struggling. Do you have any knowledge of Plymouth that I lack here?
One thing, if this going to blow your mind, I have two players from Plymouth in my current draft.
Are they bench fodder though?
No, they're starting.
Really?
I have Bali Mumba that they have signed from Norwich, the right wing back. He's going to start every game.
5.5 though for a Plymouth
Yeah,
defender.
yeah.
Are you serious?
This is just testing the waters. This is
Okay.
not. I'm not going to justify this
Okay.
selections at all.
Okay.
This is
Fine. Fine.
just testing the
Tinkering.
waters
It's the tinkering
because
stage. Is fine.
yeah,
Yep.
this is for tinkering stages because these all the players that are in my squad are placeholders for certain players
Okay.
apart from Piro
Okay.
because
Fair.
he's going to stay. So all these players. So I have Whitaker as well because the way I've seen Plymouth play, not seen, but hear from their fans and over the Twitter community. They predominantly play on the wing back system. So ball playing centre back. They signed two ball playing centre backs. So they will be playing 3-5-2 over the course of the season. And I think the team that has scored near about 100 goals in League One last season and became champions of League One.
Mm.
Something has, there should be something within that squad that say that if they are going to score 100 goals, especially in League One, then the team has something in that. And I think Mumba was there last season as well. Whitaker, I don't know Whitaker was there or
He
not.
wasn't.
Ennis
No.
was
No.
there.
They just signed him.
Yeah, he wasn't there. So probably the hole that Ennis left, I think Whitaker fits. But I think especially it will be interesting to it. Will, I think Plymouth will be a tough side to beat, especially when they are at home because of the ground. I mean, they have a very compact ground,
Mm.
like some teams in England. So it will the 12th man will be in full force. So it will be difficult place to go to and eke out a win,
Mm.
especially against Plymouth. So Plymouth, when they are at home, it will be they are going to be a decent side over the course of the season because they have the players. They have signed decent amount of players that can do a decent job in the championship. So yeah, I have hopes for them, but as of now, these Mumba and Whitaker are the options
I must.
from Plymouth.
I must correct
Yeah,
myself. Whitaker was actually there on loan last season. Scored 9 goals.
yeah.
Sorry.
So they have bring back their team basically, which won the title last season. So I'm very hope. Apart from Ennis, no significant players that have left. That so I think it will be really fun to own Plymouth players because it kind of have low expectations, but if you because they are very moderately priced apart from the Mumba guy because
Mm.
he's 5.5.
He got
So
6 goals last
especially
year, so I can kind of see why.
yeah, so I'm hoping that he kind of creates the same magic in the championship once again.
Mm.
And I think there is a player in Mumba uh, because I mean, the players that was ahead of him basically was causing him problem about his development. But probably he now has got his desired move that will flourish him.
Hmm.
So we got to see another wing back from England
Yeah.
playing well in top level. So yeah,
Yeah.
and high hopes.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they get on, whether they can push for survival. I think they'll have done well if they manage it. Hardy, the 5.5 million forward, got 13 goals last season, but it's probably not enough to kind of translate to a Gaffr asset in the championship. So yeah, be interesting to see. Yeah, it'd be interesting
Yeah,
to see
I
if
mean,
Mumba is actually going to is actually going to be a good attacking fullback and therefore okay for 5.5. But yeah, I think
yeah,
no interest from me at the moment.
yeah,
Let's.
another interesting point is that all the promoted sides that have come this season to the championship, they all have the goals that they have scored are shared among the team.
Yeah, it's
So you
true.
can't say, yeah, so you can't say that it's this guy is the only option. And no, they have shared among them. So you have to watch them closely over the course of the season. the, to eke out who is the decent option or who is the best option.
No talisman though means no real Gaffr
Yeah,
options for this teams like this, which
yeah,
aren't going to score
as
that
of
many
now.
goals.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, let's move on then to the final two teams. Okay, final two teams, which we do have fan input from, and they are QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. So let's start with QPR. I've got Watford away, Cardiff away, Ipswich at home, Southampton away, Middlesbrough away. So 4 away games, is that right? In the first 5, is that definitely
Yep.
correct? Wow. Gosh, okay. And we do have some input from Chris Hermitage, so I'm going to read what he has said. Okay. Gareth Ainsworth can't go 2 interviews without telling us it will be a hard season and we need to adhere to FFP. Fan expectations being well and truly set by this messaging and our truly dreadful run since October 2022. The miracle win against Burnley away last year saved us from relegation, and I'm still amazed it happened. A lot will think our style of play will be hoofball, very direct, but pre-season training shows that Ainsworth wants to switch the play quickly to wide men to deliver crosses for Dykes. 4-2-3-1 seems likely, and an intense press at the right times is key for the pre-season so far. Sounds very Everton. I'm expecting a poor season. Expectations are very low. I will take 21st place in survival right now, which is depressing to consider the fact that we have Chair and Willock, two of the most exciting number of 10s in this league, on their day. Expect to see every QPR have QPR on their bottom 3, but Ainsworth will be out to prove the doubters wrong and develop a positive and together dressing room. Character's a big thing we missed last season. Interesting that QPR kind of generally tipped to be in the bottom 3. Obviously, they did have a very miserable time last season, but I think it's probably not as bad as it seems. I mean, they're going to finish bottom half and probably, in the bottom 6, but they still got like the likes of Elias Chair and Willock. Dykes is a handy striker. Are they really going to finish? Are they really going to finish bottom 3? I guess depth is an issue. I mean, defensively they don't have that many options anymore. Up front, they've not got many options. It's just Dykes really. So I guess they are two key injuries, particularly like Dykes and Chair and Willock, to being in real trouble.
I mean, they got the personnel, but don't know they have the right man in charge of the ship.
Yeah.
They have. I mean, it's beyond me how they have hold on to Chair and Willock this season. It's beyond me
Mm.
because I thought both of them would have looked for new clubs, but as of now, there's nothing uh, in terms of their transfers, rumors, anything, nothing
Mm.
about them. So they're going to stay. They signed Taylor Richards from Brighton. He's an interesting option, but in terms of you can't look forward than Dykes, Chair, Willock as of now if you're looking at
Yeah.
QPR. But Richards can be another option. He is the only guy that is from QPR in my watch list because he's quite an interesting guy. He looks big in terms of stature. He imposes his way onto other defenders and on other squads. So it will be interesting to see how he plays, how
Mm.
he fits to Ainsworth's system. But I don't know much about Ainsworth because I was
Yeah, I mean, he
surprised
had a good go with
about.
Wickham in terms of they're lucky not to survive that season, and it was only really the Wigan points to. No, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of something else. Wickham were very hard done by in terms of them not surviving, and I've forgotten why. Um, anyway,
Yeah,
but Ainsworth didn't really improve things from a tactical standpoint, did he, when he came in last season? So that's the thing, really. He's
yeah.
clearly
So
quite a good motivator and quite a good man manager, but things didn't really improve on the pitch when he came in.
yeah, but also he did not get any preseason. Hopefully, with the preseason in hand,
Yeah.
this time around, maybe something different. And also last time with Chair going to the World Cup and staying with the Morocco side till semi-finals,
True.
it hampered them and affected them massively. And also with Dykes being injured and Chair Willock also being
Mm.
injured in some part of the season. So hopefully these three key players return to full fitness,
They
and
need that.
hopefully QPR has. Yeah, they really need that to have a decent amount of season and not the season that they had last season.
I found Begovic
Especially
quite a funny
after,
signing. I think they were clearly desperate. It's clearly desperate times.
yeah, I mean they needed a goalkeeper after losing Dean. They really needed
Yeah,
a goalkeeper of some
he'll do
stature,
all
and
right. He'll do all right.
Begovic
He's
will
fine.
be will do a decent job, I believe. So
Yeah.
yeah, all is well if QPR does well
Mm.
after the start that Bill gave them before his move to Rangers. It's really hard to fathom to the fact that they have been so poor since that.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see if they survive. I think they actually probably will, but they do look thin on the ground, so I can see why there's the negativity. Okay. Lastly, but not least, Sheffield Wednesday, our
mm,
final team of the 24. And we have got Brownie SkyFF, who has sent us his summary, and he's titled it Sheffield Wednesday, A New Season, A New Hope. Clearly sounds like some optimism here. Here we go. A whirlwind season for the Owls from their 2022-23 campaign, which left both Sheffield Wednesday players and fans stunned by Darren Moore's sudden and unexpected departure from the club. Yeah, weird.
yeah,
This has meant their pre-season preparations for the new season have been focused on improving the club's general situation. The chairman, Dechfon Chansiri, however you say his name, wants to see his side finish in the Championship's top 6 this season. Ambitious, but how likely is this
yeah.
considering past seasons? In terms of recruitment, there are now strong efforts to strengthen and bolster the squad by signing new players, 7 of whom were released, and retaining key talents. Wednesday have recently confirmed the appointments of 3 new members of their coaching staff, with the trio having previously worked with Carlos Munoz at Watford. The Owls headed out to Spain for their intense pre-season workout, and from the off, it's clear the coaching staff have an emphasis on the importance of building team chemistry and cohesion to achieve better on-field performances. Regarding the style of play, previously Munoz has implemented quite an exciting style of play for past teams he has managed. He usually
Yep.
prefers an attacking formation, often deploying a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. In terms of gameplay, Munoz encourages his players to press high up the pitch, applying pressure on the opponents and forcing turnovers. His teams are known for their fast-paced and aggressive style of play, with quick transitions from defence to attack. Munoz also emphasises the importance of wing play, utilising wide players to provide crosses into the box and create scoring opportunities. His fullbacks often make overlapping runs to support the attack and stretch the opposition's defence. Defensively, Munoz likes to maintain a solid shape and organise his team to defend as a unit. Players are instructed to track back quickly and win the ball back when possession is lost. Sounds like it could be exciting times for the Owls style-wise. Attacker Josh Windass Attacker Josh Windass has really impressed the new manager Munoz and he's urged everyone to be patient as they begin their style transition. Overall, Sheffield Wednesday's goal for the 2023-24 season is to implement an attractive playing style while remaining tactically disciplined. The club aims to compete at a high level and secure positive results to ultimately achieve their promotion ambitions. Now, promotion definitely feels overly ambitious, I think, for Sheffield Wednesday this season, but there's some very insightful stuff there, very good detail on what we can expect from them. It sounds like they're going to want to take it to teams. They're not just going to sit back and be a promotion, a team that's just come into the league and they're just going to sit and hit on the counter. They're actually going to try and take the game to their opponents. Quite the season last season, wasn't it, with their turnaround in the playoff semi-finals from 4-0 down. From a Gaffr point of view, presumably defensively we're not interested, but Josh Windass at 6.5. What do you reckon? I think he's an option.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I mean, we saw how Munoz team works because he was with Watford and earned promotion. So it will be an attacking side, but whether when Wednesday has the personnel, as of now they don't have the personnel. But if they have the personnel, that then Muno's style of play, if they can well adjust to the Muno style of play, then they can be an exciting team to watch out for, especially because there will be goals. Muno's teams tend to score goals for fun. So
Yeah.
there will be goals if they can improve defensively. and I mean he doesn't have the squad that he had at Watford. So it will be interesting to see the players that he brings. So far, I think he has signed two defenders and Ashley Fletcher from Watford, who I think he knows from his time.
Hmm.
So it will be interesting to see where he found the likes of Sar, the likes of Sema that he got when he was at Watford. So we'll see how Sheffield Wednesday do. But apart in terms of options, I think Wilders as of now is the only option because he is a midfielder in the game. He speaking from and hearing from all the news outlets and from Winders himself, he is going to be looks like playing on a much more advanced role. So we have an oop player in our hands again, and especially at 6.5, it's nice
Yeah,
piece.
he had
He will be a nice.
11 goals and 7 assists last season from 34 appearances, so that's pretty good. Marvin Johnson's another one who had. Oh, I've just lost it now. He had a decent record. Three goals but 10 assists, so he was creating a lot. Then there's like
Barry
Louis
Bannon,
Gregory, Bannon
Barry
deeper, isn't he? Deeper.
Bannon, yeah, he will also be an interesting option for the for Sheffield Wednesday this season. Not in terms of Gaffer, but in terms of football in general, because
Yeah.
he will make that side tick, or he will make that side a cohesive unit if Monos wants to implement his style of play,
Mm,
because clearly it's a tactical change how Darren
yeah.
Moore's side plays and how Cisco Munoz sides play. So it's a vast difference. So
Mm.
they need to be given time to implement his tactics for the players to implement his tactics. So
I
yeah,
suspect come the end of the transfer window, the team will look very different. It looks like
yep,
that hasn't the off the field kind of issues have meant focus on player recruitment has kind of taken a bit longer to get going so far on this transfer window. So at the moment, Josh Windass is the only player in that team that I look at as a potential Gaffr option, really. But you never know; they might sign some decent players who we could end up looking at.
yeah,
I think that's a big focus now as the season fast approaches. Should we move on to questions?
yep. So, questions. It's time for questions. I think we got four, and I have collected one from our previous question slide because after recording Gaffer Hoops, who has sent us question this week also, he put another question. So I have put that question also along with it. So without further ado, let's start. So start with Gaffer Hoops question. The first question he has sent us today is that what are your thoughts on the best budget options for defense, mids, and forwards, either for playing or bench options to free up money for the rest of the squad? Thanks. So budget options, one each for bench fodder or rotating ones in from defense, midfielder, and forward.
Depends how budget you're talking, I guess. I'm not aware of any 4.0 defenders. Are you that will
No,
play?
yeah, no, I don't know any.
So in terms of 4.5 defenders, you're kind of looking at what teams you're looking at. It's quite uninspiring, really. And I haven't got any in my team, and I think a lot of people are struggling with this. Um,
Uh,
are there any that stand out to you? I mean, there's Plymouth defenders. There's Bagan, who you mentioned before, maybe. Uh,
yeah, I think uh, if you're looking at budget defenders, I think Plymouth defenders, Big, and these are the ones that to look for. Maybe to some extent Swansea defenders, but I
there's
don't.
only one. Like there's Norton and Ogbeta are the two 4.5s.
Then it's
Coulson for Middlesbrough apparently might start. Apparently,
yeah,
is he a left wing back? Is he like a until Giles replacement comes in?
Yeah, I think he plays in the Giles position until Giles or Giles replacement comes. But if
Hmm.
it doesn't comes, then I think he will be a starting defender. So there's an option. But Middlesbrough defensively, as
Hmm.
we talked about before today, I'm not interested in anything. So can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of us have got four playing defenders that are like five and above, and then a 4.0 bench fodder who's not even going to be playing. So I think defenders are trickiest of the two of the three positions. Midfielders, I have a couple of ideas. Siriki Dembele, I like at six. I think he could do very well for Birmingham. He was the main one, but he was six. I don't know if you're looking sort of cheaper than six. Um,
Cheaper than six, it's hard because midfielders in if you're looking at 4.5, there's
so there's
maybe
Rudoni,
Luongo
maybe.
from, yeah, or Luongo from Ipswich, maybe, but
Yeah,
it's really hard.
I think
I
those are
think,
the main ones. Who else?
yeah,
Maybe one of the Sunderland guys if they like Bar. Maybe if he becomes nailed, but again, that's very minutes dependent. But yeah, if we're talking six, I think there's more at six than there are at like 5.5 and below. So you've got Dembele, you've got Bell for Bristol City, Sam Bell maybe. You've got who else have you got? There are a couple more, I think. Um, Maybe like Malumbi or something from West Brom could be okay. Um,
yeah. I think another midfielder from Sunderland. I think he's the one who everyone is talking about. He started in the
Yakimate's
pre-season
there.
friendly.
Hmm.
Check.
But yeah, I'll say Siriki Dembele as my number one choice.
Yeah, and also I think if Rig starts for Sunderland week in week out, then he can be another option at 5 million. Uh,
Hmm.
Alex Rig,
Okay.
they have really high hopes for him
Hmm.
uh, at Sunderland. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And in terms of forward, I think the likes of Whitaker and Hardy, these are the guys you look for budget options, I guess.
I think the main one for me is until Stewart's fit, it's Semedo for Sunderland. I think he's the one.
Yep, yep.
In a very attacking team, and this team will score a lot of goals. I think I wouldn't be looking elsewhere. I mean, there's plenty of starting forwards there. There'll be players like Will Keane,
Yeah,
Hugill. They'll
he
chip in with
will be
goals,
the,
but you don't really want to be going for them, really. Like Hurst,
yeah, I think
Broadhead, Nathan Broadhead's all right, six,
yeah,
but
Ladapo from Ipswich as well because
if he
I mean
plays, if he
from
plays.
yeah, Delap as well for Hull. He's a 6 million guy, so there's a lot of options in terms of forwards, especially at 6 and 6.5. So there's lots of forwards. Like last season, if the budget forward starts to get fire, then it will help us over the course of the season.
I
And we
just think we're
will,
likely to want other forwards is the thing. So I think it is Semedo or no one because I think we're just going to want more expensive ones.
yeah,
Mm. Cool.
yep. Now let's move on to the second question that you sent last week. Uh, Aside from Dieng, which other 4.5 goalkeepers are worth considering? And are there any 4 million goalkeepers that are likely starters?
There's no 4 millions, are there?
Yeah, no, no 4 million is a starter. But apart from form, I mean, apart from Fisher, I think maybe, yeah, apart from, sorry, apart from Dieng, 4.5, it's,
I mean, who starts? Right? There's Fisher. There's Fisher at Swansea who potentially starts. Begovic, O'Leary. At the moment maybe Bonham, and then you're talking about the like promoted teams basically. I think it's probably Fisher. If Swansea if he's looking like he's going to be first choice, and Swansea are going to be a bit more solid this year than they were under Russell Martin, I think it's probably Fisher.
yeah. In terms of 4 million, I think you have to look towards the promoted sides
There's no
because they have
starting
lots of
ones.
stuff.
There's no starting ones.
Yeah, maybe one. Oh, I think if another 4.5 that comes to mind is Max Maxwell, I think he signed from Blackpool, our keeper legend. Uh, he may start for Huddersfield if Schofield is not number one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's true. That's a good shout actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the 4.5 options that you can look forward. Apart from if you're not fully sold on DN. If you're not fully sold on DN, and if Carrick is also not sold on DN, they I think they have Glover at 4.5 as well. So that's
Mm,
another Middlesbrough goalkeeper you can look forward to if DN doesn't start. So
yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
those are the options.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one.
So hopefully, yeah, Gaffr hoops. Hopefully this helps. Next one is Kyle Stoke Gaffer. Which do you think are the best game weeks to play each boost?
I would
Mm,
check. I think should we leave that till next episode and really do it justice, because I think this is something we could spend 20, 30 minutes on.
yep, yep, yep,
So
yep,
Kyle,
yep.
we'll
Yeah,
we'll deal with boosts next week because we've not really done a proper segment on boosts yet. We've kind of touched on them
yeah,
briefly last week in one of the other questions, but it wasn't in detail.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, take a look at next week's episode.
yeah, yeah. We will because you it need what 20 25 minutes to fully focus on the weeks, and I haven't looked at weeks as well. So
Mm.
which weeks to play? So yeah, let's
So yes, to
leave
be
that
dealt with
question.
later.
Yeah. And I think the next question comes from our fellow guys and Gaffer Pod host. He's having a wonderful time at Canada. His father's home country, I guess. I'm guessing if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes, one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
No, I
got
think
he's
he's
got family there somewhere. So
yeah, he's got a lot of family. So, and he just put in a question at the last minute when we are going to get ready. Cheers, mate. Makes our work very easier. So, yeah, he says, what are your top suggestions for some playing 4.5 defenders? What is with
we've
4.5
dealt with
million?
that already, haven't we? Really? I mean,
Yeah,
just find one that plays and stick him on your bench. They're not going to start.
yeah.
Basically, I think you
So
shouldn't
he,
really be. They should be bench players and just find one who starts. To be honest.
yeah, but he's saying playing, not bench playing players. He's saying starting players. So
Yeah, but
4.5
presumably
starting
to go
players.
on his Gaffr bench, but they start in real life, right? So they're
He
cover.
he has a bad history. Do not talk to him about bench players. He has a bad history with bench players.
It's just so
Let's talk about
difficult.
starting players.
They're
Uh,
so difficult, the fore and half defenders. There's no standouts,
Maybe
to be honest.
Bagan from Cardiff. Apart from that, I don't think anyone stands out really.
If
4.5.
yeah, if he plays, which I'm not sure on, then yeah,
Yeah.
he's good. He's fine. I think he's probably the
Him,
standout.
yeah, him and Coulson, as we mentioned it earlier. Him
Mm.
and Coulson are the only two 4.5 playing options that seem to be, as of now, over the course of the preseason friendlies, they're playing. So, apart from these two, there is not really any other option.
If you're looking for someone
At
who you
four,
know will start, then you're probably looking at maybe a promoted team. So like maybe a Sheffield Wednesday guy. Like I need to check this, but there will be one that's guaranteed to start. Like Iorfa
yeah,
maybe. But I would need to just fact check that. But there will be one or two that will be guaranteed starters. Yeah, just check that.
yeah.
Sorry that we can't be more
So,
helpful. It's just such a difficult price point in terms of options.
yeah, and with other options at other pre options at 6.5, 5.5, 7 million, there are
Done at
lots of
QP,
options.
yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah,
Done at
so
QPR should start,
haven't
shouldn't he? He's 4.5, so maybe done.
maybe. Yeah, hopefully that somehow helps, but
Yeah.
we really don't know about 4.5 much. And the last one is from Christopher Heath. He has asked us to review his latest draft. So for the listeners, I'm going to read out his full team. So he has his two goalkeepers are Johns Johansson and Archer. Interesting. His five defenders are ranking Castillo, Hoover, Manning, Bagan, and the Plymouth guy that they signed. the Spanish guy from 20, Miguizuelo, I think. If I haven't butchered his name. His five midfielders: Ramsey, Sara, Hamer, Tella, and Winks. Interesting, Winks. Hmm. And his three forwards is Sims, Armstrong, Chaplin.
Marks out of 10 then. I'm going to
Yeah.
say 6.5. The reason I
Mm.
say that, or do you want to give, actually, you give your rating first.
I'm going to give it seven,
Okay, cool. Um,
7 out of 10.
I like the defence. Johansson's 5, so right. So I'm kind of
Mm.
unsure on that. Um, in terms of whether that's really good value going there. But keepers don't matter too much, really, so I'm not too fussed. Teller I like. The rest of the midfield, I am not convinced by. So, like Sara, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be okay as an option, but we don't really like Norwich, do we? I don't think Aaron Ramsey's a good option. Gustavo Hamer's all right. But there are probably better options around that price point, or if you spend a little bit more. It's like, someone like Dewsbury Hall's not there, and he's, I think, a million cheaper than Hamer. So like Hamer and Sara are fine.
Mm.
No massive problems with them, and if you particularly want to go for them, then fine. But I just think there's probably better. Forward line I like. Armstrong, Sims, and Chaplin. I like that. That's good.
Mm. Yeah, I think most of the reasons that going to say about this team are covered by you. But I think the Ramsey pick is very much emotional pick. That
Yeah.
uh, he he always does well for Wales, but we need to see how he does. The Ramsey of Arsenal is long gone. He has a lot of different difficult club teams since Arsenal. So we have to see how he performs well. International level and club football level are very different. So I yeah, although it's an interesting pick and at a decent price, but I think there are better 6.5, 6 million midfielders are there to start, especially in the first half, first five matches. Let's see how Ramsey performs in these first five matches. Then you can easily switch to him. But
Mm.
at least at the start of the season, you don't want Ramsey to be on the bench for the first five matches. You didn't pay that. I mean, considering he will keep his as of now, his bench seems to have Wings, Bagan, and Leguizuelo. So I think he will be keeping that bench. You're not starting Wings every week in week out ahead of. So you have to find a suitable replacement. Maybe you start with O'Dowda in place of Ramsey, saves you a million as well. Maybe you can do that, and then that team looks decent enough
Mm.
to at least gather 8 out of 10 rating, 8 to 8.5 rate of 10 rating. So yeah, one to look out for. But as Joe mentioned, defense and forward line looks really good. So you are not too far away. Just tweak some of the players, and then you're going to be better for the start of the season, especially.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah. So Christopher 6.5 from Joe out of 10, and 7 out of 10 from me. So hopefully, and whatever reasons that we mentioned, hopefully you get to play with it with your draft more. I think this is one of many drafts that you have prepared. So hopefully it will help more and more.
Cool.
So yep,
Brilliant. Yeah.
that's round up with the questions.
Yeah, thanks for sending in those, everyone. And yeah, that basically wraps up this episode. So the plan is that we will have one more before season starts. So we'll deal with boosts, our predictions, and our drafts.
Drafts.
They will not necessarily be final. We reserve the
Hmm.
right to change them up until the deadline. Um, but we will share those. And then we will also hopefully do a Super League episode with David in the week between game week 1 of the Championship game and the start of the Super League game. So not next week, but the week after, and preview that in one one fell swoop, I guess. So yeah, that's the plan. Thank you everyone for your contributions to this episode. Those of you who submitted your kind of
The summer,
fan
yeah.
summaries, really, really helpful, and gives us that extra insight that we wouldn't get otherwise, particularly from a tactical standpoint. Any final words, Abhishek?
No, I think do join our Super
Mm-hmm.
League and the Gaffr leagues.
Mm-hmm.
The I think if you do go to our Twitter page, it's in our pinned tweet as well. So the code is guys on Gaffr. The capital letters G of the guys are in capital, on is capital, and Gaffr is capital.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put these on caps. Rest of the guys are small cases, so not a problem. The guys on Gaffer is the code. Do join us, and we haven't quite thought about the price, but we will figure it out once David returns from his
Yeah.
holiday, and we'll have a chat about it.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, do join us, and hopefully there is much in more information about the Thursday night wars.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at the big when it come close to the start of the season, we need to check out if EFL fantasy support guys are doing this season, because we don't know about that. We haven't checked with them. But so far, Tom is once again decided to represent the community manager as community manager. So that's kind of settled it.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need the EFL guys to get the confirmation from them, and then we get to information will be
Perfect.
put out. So yeah, I think
Perfect.
that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for adding all the admin. I always forget all the admin stuff. So you and David always are good at bringing that up. Yeah, cool. That is everything then. So happy tinkering,
Yeah,
and we will see you in hopefully a few days' time for our final preview of the championship game. Take care, everyone, and
yeah.
it's goodbye from me.
And namaste from me.